Welcome back to the Old Soul Millennial channel. In today's video, I'd like to answer a question that I get asked pretty frequently. The question is pine safe to burn in a wood-burning stove or fireplace? And this is a topic that's been discussed and been debated about for probably close to the past 300 years. I don't expect to change everybody's opinion, but I'd like to share what this manual says, and I'd like to share my own experiences and insights, and then you can draw your own conclusion. So what is this manual? This is the manual from the Zero Clearance Fireplace, the manufactured fireplace that I purchased 3 years ago. The fireplace is made by Waterloo. It's actually made by Valcor. It's a Waterloo FP15A, and it's manufactured and designed in Canada. Now this is a serious unit. It puts out 95,000 BTUs at its maximum burn rate. You know, this isn't like a little chintzy unit you get from Home Depot. So I think it's safe to say that the Canadians know what they're talking about when it comes to fireplaces and wood that is safe to burn. So in this instruction manual, chapter 3, it discusses fuel, firewood. So first, let's read in this manual what it says about what is good firewood. Good firewood has been cut to the correct length for the fireplace, split to a range of sizes, and stacked till its moisture content is reduced to 15 to 20%. So let's move on to tree species. The tree species the firewood is produced from is less important than its moisture content. The main difference in firewood from various tree species is the density of the wood. Hardwoods are denser than softwoods. People who live in the coldest regions of North America usually only have spruce, birch, and poplar, other low-density species, to burn, and yet they can heat their homes successfully. I'm going to move down a paragraph here because this is a really important note here as well. Note that hardwood trees like oak, maple, ash, and beech are slower growing and longer lived than softwoods like poplar and birch. That makes hardwood trees more valuable. The advice that only hardwoods are good to burn is outdated. Old, leaky cast iron stoves won't hold a fire overnight unless they are fed large pieces of hardwood. That is no longer true. You can successfully heat your home by using the less desirable tree species and give the forest a break at the same time. So to summarize what this says, pine is safe to burn, especially in this unit, so long as its moisture content is within the right range, according to this, 15 to 20%. That is much more important than trying to only burn hardwoods. Now in the past, I actually burned a complete pine tree. And what I noticed when I burned that pine tree, the fire burned very quickly, it also burned very hot, and it didn't really add any creosote. I brush that chimney every year, and I pay attention to the amount of creosote that comes out of that chimney. And from burning that entire pine tree, I don't think it made a speck of difference in the amount of creosote that came out of that chimney. Again, at the end of the day, what was most important was that the wood was seasoned and the moisture was between that 15 to 20%. Now, at the end of the day, if I was given the choice between only burning pine or hardwoods, at the end of the day, I would still select hardwoods. Hardwoods, they're denser, so you get more bang for your buck. But that doesn't mean that softwoods don't have their place. Mixed in this stack are a few pieces of pine here or there. And what I find the pine is excellent for is it does a phenomenal job at starting your fires because the amount of sap in pine is higher, making it easier to light. It burns hot, it burns quick, so it's a great choice for starting your fires. Now, for those long overnight burns and those consistent higher temperatures, yes, I would say a hardwood is superior. If I load my firebox full of pine, it'll probably burn 2 to 3 times faster than if I were to load it full of oak. If I were to load it full of ash, pine probably burns twice as fast as the ash. Oak I have found to be the longest burning wood. May not burn the hottest, but definitely the longest, and for the amount of energy it takes to split the wood, I think you get the best bang for your buck. So to quickly summarize my thoughts and opinions on pine, is it my first choice? No. If I have another pine tree that needs to come down, would I cut it up and split it and mix it in with my stack? Absolutely. If I only had pine to burn, would I only burn pine? Absolutely. Does it add more creosote to the chimney than hardwoods? In my experience, not really. Maybe marginally, but as long as you dry your pine down to that proper moisture percentage between 15 and 20%, and you clean your chimney at least once a year, I don't think you're going to have any problems. So those are my opinions, but also I just want to talk about seasoning your wood and how to ensure that you're at that right moisture percentage. Now really the easiest way to determine if you're at that right moisture percentage of 15 to 20% is with a moisture meter. They are quite inexpensive now. They retail for about $15 on Amazon. You can pick up a cheap one for $15. I'll leave a link to one in the description down below if you want to purchase it, or just take a look, see what it looks like. But I also want to read some old school techniques on how to tell if your wood is seasoned. And this is coming from the manual. So cracks form at the ends of the logs as they dry. As it dries in the sun, the wood turns from white or cream color to a gray or yellow, which I can confirm that seasoned wood that does discolor. If you bang two pieces of wood together, seasoned wood sounds hollow and wet wood sounds dull. So let's try this out. Here's a piece of seasoned oak, as noted by the discoloration, and this is a piece of wet, fresh, split oak. So let's hit the two together and see what we hear. So this is the seasoned piece. Has more of a ring. Let's hit the solid piece. Definitely sounds a little bit more solid. Dry wood is much lighter in weight than wet wood. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Split a piece, and if the fresh face feels warm and dry, it is dry enough to burn. If it feels damp, it is too wet. And I can kind of attest to this. You know, if I haul home a few rounds and I'm not really sure whether they're dry enough to burn just by looking at them, I'll bring them to my splitter. I'll kind of gauge how easily they split, how much they splinter, but then I'll take a piece, I'll bring it up to my face, and I'll feel it with my lip. I know it sounds kind of crazy and weird, but you know, you touch that to your lip, you can also kind of gauge how wet the wood is. Give it a try. If you think I'm crazy, that's fine, but it actually works for me. And finally, burn a piece. Wet wood hisses and sizzles in the fire, and dry wood does not. Of course, the old tried and true method. And that pretty much concludes today's video. I would like to hear what your thoughts and comments are. What has your experience been with pine? Drop a comment in the comment section down below. If you have any future video ideas as well, let me know in the comment section down below. As always, I would like to thank you for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.